So, combining like terms, I'm going to move all this down so you can see it and pause it and write it down. So, a term is either a single number or single variable or numbers and variables multiplied together. Okay, terms are separated by plus and minus signs. So an example here is 4x plus 5. This is two terms. This is a term, and this is a term. Notice there's one addition sign separating two different things. Okay, like terms. Like terms is a term that has the same that's why we call it like. Has to be the same. Variable raised to the same power or exponent. Okay? Now I'm going to just move this up and I'm going to stop for just a second. You can pause the video to get all of that written down. So we have examples. We're going to decide if they're like terms or not, and then we're going to say the reason. Okay, so 2 and 3, are they like terms? So do they have the same variable where there is no variable? So no variable. So it's just numbers. So yes, they are the same. It's not a matter of do they have to be the same number. That's not what we're talking about like terms. Like terms means it has the same variable and with the same power. So 2x and 3x have the same variable. So same variable is the reason. This one, 3x and 2y. No, those are not the same. Different variables. Okay, 3xy and 4xy. So this is a yes. In some cases, you can have more than one variable. You probably won't talk about it, at least for a little bit. But 3xy and 4xy, yes, they're like terms. And in this case, it's because they have the same variables, plural. Notice there's no addition sign between those, so that's all a single term. This is all a single term. Okay, this last one, 2x and 4x squared. Well, they have the same variable, but they don't also apply to this one, so they don't have the same power. So this one is, no, they don't have like terms, not same power. This one has an exponent of 2. This one, remember, if there's no exponent, it's always an imaginary 1. So those exponents are different. Okay, so now that you understand what like terms are, let's go and look at solving using like terms. Okay, so if we have 6x plus 3x equals 18, you will see me circle it. So both of those have an x. 6x, 3x. Those are like terms. They have the same variable and the same power. There is no power written. So I'm going to combine like terms. So 6x plus 3x. Well, if you think about it, if I have 6 apples plus 3 apples, I would have 9 apples. And you still have to tell me that it's apples. Side note, just to remind you of something that we were talking about. Remember when we were doing 9x times 3x? Or no, let's do 6x, sorry. 6x times 3x. Notice the difference here. There's a plus sign here and not a plus sign here. When a number and a variable are right next to each other like that, that means they're multiplying. So pretty much all of this is multiplying together. 6 times 3 would be 18. X times x, or 18x squared. This is multiply. This is add. So do not change exponent. You just add the numbers. So right there, do not change the exponent, just add the numbers. Okay, now we're going to solve it just like we've been doing. So if 9x equals 18, so that's 9 times x. I'm going to use a different color. I'm going to use blue. 9 times x, so the opposite of multiply is divide. X equals 18 divided by 9 is 2. Let's check our work. 6 times 2 plus 3 times 2 equals 18. 6 times 2 is 12, plus 3 times 2 is 6. 12 plus 6 is 18. 18 equals 18. Okay, next example. We have 6x minus 5 plus 7x equals 34. So I'm going to circle my variable just like I've been doing in all of the problems that we solve. Notice I now have two things circled. So the first thing that you really could, if you wanted to, add the 5 over here and then combine those. It's up to you. I just like to not have to write these step after step. So I'm going to try to combine them first. So I have 6x plus 7x. Remember, just add the numbers. 6 plus 7 is 13, so it'd be 13x. Bring down the minus 5 equals 34. Okay, circle the variable. Now notice we only have one. 13x minus 5 equals 34. So the opposite of subtract 5 is add 5 and add 5. So 13x equals 4 plus 5 is 9. Bring down the 3. Okay, 13 times x. The opposite of multiply is divide. Do it in your calculator, or do it in a calculator. 39 divided by 13 is 3. So x equals 3. Okay, last problem. This is typically the last way that you'll see these. They can get more complicated, but we'll be talking about that in another video. But circle the variables. notice the variables are on opposite sides of equal sign. So since they are on the opposite side of the equal sign, we're going to have to move one of them. I always try to move the smaller. So I'm going to move the 4x. In order to move it, I can't just move it over there. Remember, you have to do the opposite. Well, right now it's a positive 4x, so I need to do the opposite, which is a negative 4x. So if the variables are on opposite sides of equal sign, you need to do the opposite operation. So 4x minus 4x, that will cancel. And then do it to the other side as well. 12x minus 4. 12 minus 4 is 8x equals negative 8. Don't forget to bring down that negative. Okay, then it's 8 times x. So the opposite of multiply by 8 is to divide by 8 and divide by 8. So x would equal a negative divided by a positive is a negative. 8 divided by 8 is 1. So it would be x equals negative 1. So combining like terms, just look for if they are on the same side, just add them or subtract them, whatever the sign is. If they're on opposite sides, you have to do the opposite. So combining like terms.